I'm going to share with you how we get our enduro riders race fit in the off season, even when they're not riding as much, when there's no racing on, without burning themselves out before the start of the next season, even if they're working a full-time job and have a family to be able to look after. So we use what we call our faster laps system, which is made up of 3 components. So the first component is rider strength. So if you think about how much your bike weighs and you think about your body weight on top of that, you've got a fair amount of weight that you need to be able to wrestle around for a full race. So if you're riding a 250, okay, or a 300, and it weighs about 100 or 110 kilos with all the gear on it, all fueled up, all full of oil, and then you've got your body weight on top of that and you weigh 90 kilos, that's a total of 200 kilos that you need to be able to wrestle around for 2, 3, 4 hours plus out on the bike. So you need to be able to get yourself stronger. The stronger you can get yourself, the lighter you can get that 200 kilos to feel. The lighter you can get the 200 kilos to feel, the less energy you're going to use on the bike, the easier it's going to be to hold your race pace and race speed all the way through the race instead of fading and dropping off halfway through like most riders and racers do. So there's 2 approaches that riders use over this off-season period. First of all, you get the pray and hope riders, okay? And I'd probably say I would have come into that category when I was racing, which is where they take the end of the year or end of the season off, bikes kind of get put to the side, it's a little bit more casual riding, the training and the fitness and the strength side kind of gets pushed to the side as well. And then it's this mindset of like recharging and resting, and then, all right, when January comes around next year and the season's about to crank up in March, I'll start putting in all of this effort and all of this energy and try and get really, really fit. The problem that happens for those people, and the same thing that happened for me when I was racing, is as you get to the end of the season and you dial back all of the riding and you put the strength and fitness stuff on hold and you're not dialing that in, is that goes backwards. So your strength goes backwards and you get weaker, your fitness goes backwards and you're not as fit, your lungs aren't as strong and as robust as what they need to be. So what would happen for me is then I'd spend the first few months at the start of the next season just trying to rebuild. And what would happen is, even though I was putting in all of this effort and energy into getting better, really what I was doing is just getting myself back to where I was at the end of the previous season and not really getting better. And that's what I call the pray and hope riders and the pray and hope method, is you're just hoping that you're going to put in enough effort next season that you're going to get back to where you were before. You're not really making any progress. What serious racers do is they use this 4-month block at the end of the season as an opportunity to be able to build. And the problem is with strength building takes a lot of time to be able to build. So a rider in general, from their initial base level of strength, will take about 6 months to be able to double their level of strength. So if you can double your level of strength, the bike's going to feel half as light for you. So the bike's going to feel great. It's going to be really easy to be able to ride. Think about like riding a 450 and then jumping back on an 85, right? Like you can throw it around, it feels really light, it doesn't take much energy to be able to ride. That's the feeling that we're going for. The serious racers know that. And so they use these next 4, 5, 6 months to be able to build strength, to be able to get themselves stronger. And what that does is it puts these guys in a better position than where they were in the current season, rather than just getting to the start of the next season and being in the same physical shape as they were in this year. The second component for the faster lap system is our rider cardio. So when you're racing, there's actually 2 types of cardio that you need to have your body used to. So if you're doing, say, a 4-hour enduro and you're out there riding or out there racing, there's 2 things that we need to factor in. Number 1, you need to be able to go a long distance on the bike, 4 hours. You need to be able to do exercise, okay, and work hard for 4 hours, which is a long period of time. That's the one type of fitness that we need. The other type of fitness that we need is within those 4 hours, we're not just doing like a consistent speed for 4 hours. It's not like doing a marathon run where you're just like running, trying to hold the same pace, doing the same thing for 4 hours straight. What's actually happening is you've got parts of that enduro that require a lot more effort and a lot more strength than other parts of the enduro. So you might be doing hard enduro and you might have a rock garden. And that rock garden takes a lot of energy. You're really like getting on and off the bike, wrestling the bike around, trying to pick the best line. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy. But then you might have other parts of that same track that don't require much effort at all. Like you might have a bit of single trail that goes from like the rock garden to the next section, where you can just use it as a little bit of a breather, recharge, rest, and get ready for the next section. So you need to be able to have your body really, really good at going very hard for short periods of time, being able to rest and recover really quick, and then be able to go hard again. And that's the second type of fitness that you need. So The pray and hope riders, again, it's like they take the rest of the year off or the end of the season and they get into the next season and they're just flogging the shit out of themselves trying to do anything. They're like doing like long runs, they're trying to go for cycles, they might be doing like F45 or banging out a few CrossFit sessions or doing some stuff in the garage. And there's not really too much structure or too much planning towards it. And so again, the problem that happens is you rock up to next racing season and you're not ready. Okay, you're doing all of this stuff just scrambling at the last minute, trying to get right time in, trying to be able to ride more, trying to get your fitness up, trying to get your strength up, throwing a whole heap of stuff at it, trying to get better. And really, it's not doing anything. It's probably just rebuilding what you've missed out on at the end of the last year. The serious races, again, they use that last 5 or 6 months at the end of the year to be able to make progress and work on those two different types of rider cardio that they need. And so the way that we do this with our riders is, if they are still getting out on the bike, which they will, but probably just not as frequently, is we encourage them to do longer rides. Build that longer cardio, build that getting your body used to being on the bike for 4 hours by actually being on the bike for 4 hours. So instead of going out to a motocross track or instead of going riding for 10 minutes at a time, try and get some longer rides in and build that energy system, that cardio system that way. For the shorter, sharper stuff, that's where we work and we use our gym stuff. So with our guys, we do 3 45-minute sessions a week, and probably about 15, 20 minutes of that is made up of the cardio stuff. And that's where we're doing our short, sharp burst type training, where we're getting our riders really, really good at going hard, very hard for short periods of time, resting and recovering, and then being able to go hard again. Exactly like what's happening when they go out and race. So the goal is, during our off season, we're working on the things, the systems that we're going to be using on the bike when next season comes. The difference is we can be more consistent with the training now because we've got less riding, we've got less traveling, less racing, less stuff that we need to prepare with the bike. It's the best opportunity to be able to get our riders working on their body and get it dialed in and push forward and get better. And even better is most of the competitors and other riders are just having a break and having a rest. So while our guys are going like this and making progress, the other guys are going backwards. And that's when you get riders that get to the start of next season and go, shit, like what have you been doing over the off season? They're the types of comments that serious riders get when they've been putting in the work while everyone else has been having a rest. The third component is rider nutrition. So there's two things for rider nutrition. First of all, if you need to be able to lose weight, okay, or lose body fat, then that's one component to get yourself lighter on the bike. And then the other component is making sure that you're fueling your body correctly on race day and you're using foods or using supplements that your body agrees with. Most riders will go over and above for their bike. They will get the, bearings replaced, any signs of rust or anything, they will get bolts, taken out and put new stuff in. They wash their bike every week. They do their air cleaners or oil filters regularly. They run it on 98 octane fuel or put better stuff in it like race fuel. And then when it comes to their body, it's kind of like, oh, I'll just get McDonald's on the way to the track. Or, oh, it's been busy today, I won't eat, and then go and try and ride for 4 hours. Or, oh yeah, I'm going to ride, but I'm just going to take a bit of water in my Camelback and maybe bring a nut bar if I feel hungry. Or have a couple of lollies. That's not really a strategy for your body. It's like your bike. Your bike needs good fuel, number one, and it needs enough of the fuel. If you haven't got good fuel in there, it's going to run like shit. If you haven't got enough fuel in there, it's going to run like shit. And that's exactly the same for your body. Pray and hope riders and racers, okay? They just use that pray and hope method. They don't worry about working on their nutrition over the off season. They don't worry about working on their on the bike nutrition during the off season. They just keep eating how they've been eating. No strategy, no approach or system that they're using whatsoever. They rock up to next race season and all they're worried about is just, oh, I'll get on the bike and see how I go and pray and hope that I've got enough energy and I can get through the race. And the problem with that is you're always going to be disappointed because you're going to get to race day. You're not going to perform how you want to perform. And you're probably going to be frustrated if you're expecting to do well and you're not performing because your body doesn't have the fuel. It's the same as your bike, isn't it? Like your bike runs out of fuel, it doesn't go anywhere. Your body runs out of fuel, same thing, doesn't go anywhere. So serious racers use this next 4 to 6 months to be able to dial in their nutrition. So if they need to lose weight, they use this time to be able to lose weight because they've got the time, the attention where they can focus on it and it's easier to dial in their food because they've got less distractions with traveling and going away for racing and having to spend a whole heap of time in the shed and eating on the go. It's generally a bit easier because there's a bit more time there. The other thing that serious racers work on over this time is dialing in their on the bike nutrition. Okay, it's dialing in, okay, how do I fuel myself before I go and race? Before I go and ride, how do I fuel myself during a ride? What do I eat the night before to be able to get the most out of my rides? And so because they do that in the off season, they know what their body gels with and they know what agrees with their body and what doesn't. There's no point in going to a ride or a race and going, oh shit, like I put that Powerade in my Camelback, but it's just too sweet and it makes my mouth dry. Or I had that carb gel, but it's just feels like it's got too much sugar or some sort of flavoring in it and it's putting my stomach off and giving me stomach issues. You want to find that stuff out when you go and practice. And so this is the best time to be able to do that. And serious racers understand that these next 4 to 6 months is the best time for them to experiment and try different things with their nutrition and their food because they've got the time there and there's no racing. The practices aren't important. Like if they go practice and they find out that the gels feel shit in their stomach, that's great. That's better than going to a grassroots hard enduro. That's better than going to Romaniacs. It's better than going to Hadar Desert Race and finding out there when you've put all this time, energy and money into getting out to this big race. They're the 3 components. If you'd like some help with implementing the Faster Lap system into your own training over this off season to get ready for next year, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. Just send me a direct message with Faster Laps and I will send you all the details.